Time keeps on leaving and we keep on moving. When do we pass on our wisdom to the youth? My veteran story, lost arts discussions, fireside chats with a bourbon or two. It's time to hear the stories by military veterans. Get yourself ready, it's the Lost Arts Podcast. The Lost Arts with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast. That podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. I am your host, Andrew Cox. On today's episode, we have Marine Retired Sergeant Major Mark Oloughlin for part 3 of his veteran story. Before we get into his veteran story segment, are you enjoying the podcast? Then consider being a TLA patron. That's the Lost Arts patron. It is with donors that we are able to continue recording these podcasts and getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Just go to the Lost Art website and click on the Become a Patron link. Any donations are appreciated. If you would like to be a guest and tell your story, then email me at thelostartwithandrewcox@gmail.com.
Do what I say when I say to do it and exactly how I say to do it. So I just expounded on that and added in because like I said, I've had some phenomenal leaders, mentors, both enlisted and officer.
Right.
So when I graduated the infantry training school, it was Colonel Bob Mojeweski, Medal of Honor recipient, was the commanding officer of the school. When I get to 3rd Battalion, 9th Marines, Colonel J. Vargas, Medal of Honor recipient, is the regimental commander. And
Holy cow.
And then, like I said, plus and then one of my closest mentors was retired Marine Colonel Jack Kelly. I think you've met him many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2 Silver Stars, 2 Bronze Stars, 2 Purple Hearts from Vietnam, 2 different tours in Vietnam, and just a phenomenal leader. And one of his biggest leadership axioms was nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And with anything about leadership, and I tell everybody about leadership, they say, oh, there's this new concept. There is no new concept about leadership. Leadership is ancient.
Yeah.
It's ancient,
Yeah.
And it's it's throughout the Bible. There's more leadership references in the Bible than you could shake a stick at.
Yeah, very true.
But so I took all that leadership that I learned from sergeants majors, gunnery sergeants, staff sergeants, other sergeants, and I put them into my 5. I added some, took information from the Marine Corps doctrine, and I put them into 5 rules. And here's my 5 rules are: number 1, you have to care about people and desire to be a great leader.
Okay.
Because once again, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And when I say care, I don't mean carry. You don't want to, if you don't want to do someone's job for them, because that just stifles their initiative, takes away their desire to get better. You don't care. You care for them.
Absolutely. You
care for them. You don't carry them. So you got to hold them accountable. Like I said earlier, accountability is cornerstone of leadership. And as long as as long as you can care about people, do the right things for them, hold them accountable, and help them grow, then that's the important thing about being a leader. When you're in charge, when you're a leader of somebody, they're in your charge or custody, and that's a thing that's entrusted to you. That's a human being that's entrusted to you. When we, like I said, the Marine Corps is a dangerous game we play, but we choose to play it. But we shouldn't have to be doing reckless stupid things. Okay.
Right.
So it's,
Yeah. Absolutely.
provide care and do the right thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So and once again, you could be the most knowledgeable, proficient, administratively efficient supervisor in your organization. But if the people
Hmm.
under your charge feel that you're just using them to aggrandize yourself, it's, they'll see
Yeah.
right through that. Human beings are good at seeing right through fake leadership.
Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And the second thing is desire to be a great leader. You know, I
Yeah.
wanted to fly the space shuttle. Okay. But uh, now the Obama administration got rid of that program. So we don't have the space shuttle.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to do it. So I'd watch the documentaries on it. I'd read some books on it. Right. But I desired to be a sergeant major of Marines. And so I had to
Hmm.
focus my effort on what it took to become that, to gain the
Yeah.
leadership and the experience and the knowledge. I had a desire to
Hmm.
do that. So it was a driving, like an internal, uh, burning desire uh, to do whatever it took to get to that position.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And the second one, you got to identify yourself as a leader. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
Anybody, uh, you know, if you don't know you're the leader, how's anyone else going to know you're a leader? Right?
That's a
It's
good point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So um, so you've got to have in your identity that you are the
Hmm.
leader. You know, you can have rank, but do you have that? Do people look to you to be a leader? You know, when I
Right.
was one of the most proudest day of my life was when I was promoted to corporal of United States Marines. It was just, I
Hmm.
remember to this day. And then once again, being a corporal of Marines, being a non-commissioned officer, and
Yeah.
that's it was really important to me. So I identified myself as the leader. And so
Hmm.
when you identify yourself, that belief you have about yourself makes you unique, makes you, uh, and it gives you clarity to establish the boundaries of your performance and how you operate on a daily
Yeah.
basis. Okay.
Yeah.
You have the good characteristics of what it takes to to be a leader. And the first one you have to lead is
Right.
yourself.
Yeah.
And
True.
that's why
Yeah.
that setting the example is so important. You have to be
Hmm.
a good PT, or you have to have a good haircut, a good uniform, shave, everything like
Hmm.
that. Uh, so you have to identify yourself as a leader so that other people can look to you as a leader. Okay. And
Yeah.
you have to know the gain the knowledge. You got to gain the knowledge, the principles, the traits. uh,
You're right.
yep. And even um, in the Marine Corps, with the promotion system, one of the
Hmm.
things about being promoted is you have to be able, your commanding officer has to feel confident that you can train and lead Marines as a team.
Right.
So that's why you identifying yourself as a leader and doing whatever it takes so you can improve your leadership uh, abilities is so important. It's just,
Hmm.
it's one of those things that just can't be overlooked. Um,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely. Yeah.
because Marines look to their leaders for leadership, not buddyship. And I
True.
think you
Yeah.
probably remember me saying nobody likes to be led by a weak and feeble wimp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah. I do
yeah,
remember that. Yeah. Oh man, that
yeah,
brings back good memories right there.
yeah. It's
Oh, that's I actually I really like to identify yourself as a leader. I mean, that's to me it's if you don't see yourself as a leader, then nobody else is going to see you as that. So you have to take on that that persona, that what it is that you think is a leader, so somebody else can look at you
exactly.
in that light.
Leaders have prestige, and prestige is
Hmm.
defined as respect, distinction, or
Hmm.
renown. Prestige is the power to command admiration. It's ascendancy derived from general admiration or esteem. Prestige has a leader commanding a position in men's minds. And you build your prestige as a leader from striving to be a better person, setting superior examples, and making constructive corrections on your subordinates. It just doesn't happen. You have to, you have to work on yourself to improve these characteristics in yourself so that you can, get other people, so you can inspire and lead other people, because, they say leadership is an art. It is the art of leadership. And it's the art because it just doesn't happen. You have to work at it. And if
that's true. And you know what? Because the name of the podcast is The Lost Art, and becoming a leader or being a leader sometimes becomes that lost art. If you don't actually go in and educate yourself and learn and look left, look right, and figure out all these pieces, then that's kind of getting lost. And if you're a leader, if you're not passing it down to that next generation, it's going to be lost.
Exactly. So, and leadership is defined as the sum of qualities and maturity, intellect, moral courage, and human understanding that allows one to inspire and control a group. It is the art, as you say, it is the art of influencing and directing others in order to gain their willing obedience.
Yeah.
And it's they say it's an art because it's a human effort or craft, and it needs skill attained through observation, study, and practice of a system of methods and principles.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one human being influencing and directing the free and independent will of one or more people as an approach to accomplishing a task or a mission. And to quote Sergeant Major Ryan Hermance, leadership is peopleship.
Yeah. Very true.
Yep. It's all human personality dependent. It concerns yourself with another human being's goals, wants, desires, as well as their human fears. Every human being holds their own self, their own self safety in high esteem. Nobody wants just to get hurt, right? So it takes someone from leadership to sometimes get them to do some dangerous things for a good cause.
Yeah.
And leadership,
absolutely.
Yeah. And you just can't, like I said, some people say, "Oh, they're born leaders," or you can't learn leadership. Yes, you can learn leadership. Yes, you can. It's learned by observation of other leaders, emulation of other leadership styles and traits, and experience in exercising authority and accomplishing assigned tasks.
Yeah.
And it's what, like I said, I always say the only thing better than being a Marine is being a leader of the United States Marines.
Yeah, I like it. Yes.
Yep.
That's very good. Yeah, it's that's one of the things that I talked about several weeks back in podcasts, and it's kind of like I guess my thoughts on leadership, and I had a couple of episodes on that, and it's what you're talking about here is a lot of the same stuff, and I could tell that I had good leaders, right? You were one of those leaders because I obviously have taken a lot of what you have said, and I am now saying that kind of the same stuff. So maybe not as well said as you are doing, but I still say basically the same thing.
Oh, right. And like I tell everybody when I didn't think any of this stuff up. I organized what I learned from others into this. I didn't think, this is nothing earth shattering, brand new stuff that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah. Just giving it a new spin and as you put it together,
and
right?
There's an old saying that you teach what you most need to know, And so I was always teaching leadership because I knew I needed to know it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I wish I knew who said that, so I could give them credit. But
Yeah.
it's
You can just tell everybody I said it. I
all
like
right.
that.
You take
We'll
responsibility
just
for
go
it.
with that. Yeah. I'll take credit. Oh man.
That's good. That's
So
good.
so we got care about people and desire to be a great leader. That's number 1. And then number 2, identify yourself as a leader. What do you got for number 3?
So with number 3, this is kind of a long one, and this is taken straight out of Marine Corps doctrine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have communicate, demonstrate, delegate, supervise, inspect, and rehearse. There's kind of a big.
You may have to repeat that.
Yeah, big mouthful there. Okay.
Yeah.
First one, communicate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate. There's a difference between communicating and dictating. If you're just running your lips, you as a leader, just running your lips out there, and everybody in front of you is just shaking their heads, yes, and then you say, okay, let's go get it done, you know that there was not mutual understanding.
Okay? Right, yeah.
So it has to be a clear, concise communication. And because if there's not mutual understanding, it's just dictating. Okay. And now with mutual understanding, there doesn't have to be mutual agreement. The people you're talking to, you're communicating something to, they don't have to agree with you, but they have to understand what you're saying. It has to be mutual understanding, because English is not a common language, correct? I mean, you have there, and there. Yep. Yeah, I mean,
I'm still trying to figure it out.
There's so many words in the English language like that. So you can't just English is not a common language. That's why, say you go to a steak place. Well, how do you want your steak? I always say, what is your definition of medium rare? Because something that simple. But have to, like I said, you got to be clear, concise, and to the point. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Now, and you have to be decisive when you're doing it. I remember as a young sergeant or a corporal, I think a corporal, I was given my first patrol order. And so, you got the whole 5-paragraph order written out in patrol order format. And you got your terrain model there. And I gave this order, right? And I didn't prepare properly for it. So I was kind of stumbling and mumbling and hums and his and blah, 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 hobnob, blob, slob. And after we get done with the patrol and I send them out to do their little, checklists and preparation and stuff like that, the platoon sergeant, he pulls me aside, once again, very professional. He says, well, how do you think you did on that? And I'm going, well, I think I didn't do too good. No, I really didn't like my the outcome on that. And so he says, well, if you just think about this, if you wouldn't follow your own order, do you expect other people to follow your orders?
Yeah.
Just because of the way I presented the material. I mean, technically, it was I hit all the checkpoints on this in the Marine Corps Order 6-7, which is infantry patrolling. I hit every checklist on that order, but I didn't communicate it to them.
Okay? Right. Yeah.
And when you give, but if you're then in another sense, when you give an order, you pass an order on as your order. You don't be one of those snivellers that say, well, the higher boss wants it done this way. No. Yeah. When you give an order, it's your order. If you do not take responsibility for that order, you are stripping yourself of that leadership prestige and the authority.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the authority of your position. So, I mean, you can shoot yourself in the foot if you want,
Yeah.
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 But
That's
once
good.
again, I was so that's why, and we'll get to the rehearse a little farther. But I mean, if you wouldn't follow your own order because of the way you presented it, why would anyone else follow it?
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
And then so demonstrate. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot go, or what's the old saying? You cannot teach what you do not know. You cannot explain what. Yeah, you can't. You cannot lead where you will not go, and you cannot teach what you do not know. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be able to demonstrate.
Yeah.
If they don't have faith, you never give an order that you wouldn't follow yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you can't do it, there's, and I'm not talking a technical thing about, say, fixing a aircraft or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying if you don't know how to, rappel, hook yourself up, then why would you expect someone else to go off the side of that cliff, on a rope?
Yeah.
You cannot.
True. Yeah.
So you cannot lead where you will not go, and you cannot teach what you do not know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very true.
And then delegate. Delegate
Mm-hmm.
is it's one of the harder things to learn, and the harder thing to use and trust. Okay, because when you delegate, you entrust a task, power, or responsibility to someone else. So you in your leadership capacity, you authorize someone else to act as your representative.
Right.
Okay. Now, entrust is to give over responsibility. Okay, and you have confidence in them, having the confidence. Okay, you can delegate authority, but you cannot delegate responsibility. So just because, I put so and so in charge of it, he screwed it up. No, you delegated it. You are still responsible for it.
Yeah.
Okay?
You something failed in there. Maybe you didn't communicate it correctly,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So, yeah.
But it is so important to be able to delegate, because if you try to overcommit yourself to checking on everything and making sure that you're the only one who can do something, once again, that's going to stagnate the development of individual human wills that's under your charge. It'll cause complacency. It'll stifle initiative, and it'll crush any true commitment to the accomplishment of the mission. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's some leaders, like I said, the less experience you have as a leader, the less you're kind of willing to delegate. But there's proper ways to do it. There's a guy named Stephen Covey, one of these, what's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or something. He says the key to commitment is involvement. If there's no involvement, there's no commitment. That's why, as a delegate, you give orders to specific people or groups to get specific tasks done. And then you get out of their way and let them do it.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where the supervision comes in. Okay. Supervision is defined as to direct and inspect work or workers or the operation of an organization, and to oversee it or manage it. But there's a difference between management and leadership. Management is important. Management, let's say management was responsible for getting all of the man, equipment, and logistics, say, to D-Day, right, from the D-Day landing. But it took leadership to get them out of those landing crafts onto the beach and into that withering fire that they were experiencing. So management is important because you got to have the correct things in place in certain areas. But the supervision and the leadership is important. But But once again, with the experience of the leader, if they're not willing to delegate, or if they do delegate, then they'll won't supervise properly because they will say over supervise. They will micromanage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Supervision is giving them the communication, instruction, the delegation, and the materials to accomplish that mission, and to let them do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with different levels of supervision, because of the different levels of performance and experience of the people you're in charge of, you
Right.
sometimes you can say, get this done, and walk away. Other
Mm-hmm.
times you have to be in the close proximity so that subordinate leader can, bam, maybe come run over to you and ask a quick question. But at the same time,
Yeah.
if you're around too much and they're always doing that, maybe you didn't communicate to them properly in the first place. And if you're too close,
Yeah.
you're kind of hovering over them and micromanage them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, supervision doesn't mean, once again, delegate it. Hey, you're in charge. I'm here if you need me. And then just hope things happen. That's not proper supervision.
Yeah.
Along with the supervision, there has to be a time for inspection.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a time for inspection. One of the 22nd Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Shoup,
Mm-hmm.
he made a statement. A military unit is only as good as its inspection system. Okay.
Ooh. Yeah.
And that was and that's any organization. That is any organization.
Mm-hmm.
That's from your family to the biggest corporation here in the country. If there's not an inspection to ensure that the commander's intent is being followed, if rules and regulations aren't being followed, if things aren't getting done on the proper time, then that's when things are going to fall apart. To inspect, the definition is to examine a thing carefully and critically, especially looking for flaws, to examine officially, to visit in order to make sure that certain rules and standards are being observed. Okay.
Right.
So there's got to be an inspection. So during your supervision time, you in your checklist, your order of operations, while you're at the end of your supervision or towards the end, there should be an inspection. And that also gets that sense of urgency going.
Right.
So you're given the order, you communicated to them, you delegated responsibilities, you're supervising them, but you're coming back at a certain time to inspect. Okay. Right. Because once again, the old axioms, inspect what you expect, never expect, inspect. There's an old saying, when you assume, you end up making an A out of you and me. Or right, General Patton was always saying, when you assume, you are thinking with your A. And then it all comes down. They only do well what the boss checks.
Yeah.
Oh, so one of the most important things about the inspection is never be a no-show. If you gave them a time limit to have something done to ensure that appropriate sense of urgency, you must have a time that and they must know the standards that you're going to be inspecting by. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're a no-show, your credibility goes right out the window. Okay.
Yeah. Very true.
Human beings, but especially Marines, I think, despise being inspected. They freaking hate it.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah. Freaking inspection. Oh, God. But they love it when they do well and there's no or little discrepancies found. Then it's like, that's it. Just doing well on an inspection that you hated to prepare for. It gives you a sense of pride. It gives, especially the organizational pride.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just hard to explain the importance of it. But also, there must be a debrief. There must be a debrief about that inspection so that everybody knows the results.
Yeah.
Okay. When you communicate, you're giving everybody I always say you're giving them the rule book, right? You're telling them what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then once you inspect them, you do it according to how you said it was going to be done. And then you debrief them.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Yeah.
be honest and explicit. Be decisive. If they did poorly, you've got to use tact to let them know that the desired results were not achieved. But nothing is ever 100% screwed up. You can, during your proper supervision techniques, you should have noticed the effort that they're putting in to get this done, and or get that accomplished, or how they're helping each other, everything like that. So you always have to find something good to say, because once again, an old leadership saying: never give a dollar's worth of criticism without a dime's worth of praise. The next part of that is rehearse. Okay, rehearse is to practice. Rehearse is to practice before performing in public, to train a person, to instill instantaneous reaction or condition. Okay, if you want that muscle memory, you got to do stuff again and again and again. That's like rehearsing. Right. And when you're working with people and you've communicated to them, you've delegated them, you've supervised them, you inspected them, and now before they got to do the actual performance, you rehearse them. Okay, I always like to use the phrase, never send a Christian into the lion's den naked. Right?
Yeah.
arm them with the sword of knowledge and the breastplate of experience.
That's good.
Okay, because your people's performance is a direct reflection of your leadership. It's take for instance, if you remember or not, I guess you wouldn't remember. Like when I was the first sergeant in the infantry company, and you have the duty NCOs come to report to you every day, right? Or every day for the changeover.
Right.
You know, the off-going duty NCO, they both walk in, they stand at attention. Off-coming duty NCO salutes and says, Sergeant so-and-so reporting as off-going duty NCO.
Right.
Something to that effect, right? There's a correct way to do it. But I would always say, like, if they messed it up, I would say, I guess if you stand duty again tonight, you will rehearse before you come in to do the changeover, won't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll learn them.
Right. And then just even when you're having a Marine, you call up the first, like the sergeant major, or I was the first sergeant, I call up platoon sergeant. Hey, bring one of your Marines, or send your Marine up here so we can go over something or do whatever, right? So they come in and report to you, right? If they show up and they're all messed up and they can't say good morning, blah blah blah, this is Lance Corporal so and so reporting as ordered. If they can't do that confidently, that's just a direct reflection that you did not properly prepare them.
Right. Yeah.
And so it all comes down, and so it's better for you at that level to put the pressure on them and do the rehearsals, so that then when they actually go out to do it, they've already had stress and they've already had reacted and performed under stress.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just another level of your leadership. Communicate, demonstrate, delegate, supervise, inspect, and rehearse.
Most definitely. Yeah, that makes sense. That's one thing that being in the band, we do that all the time. Like that's.
Oh yeah. How much did you rehearse?
Oh, for all the time. It was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's
when we
in order to have a good performance, you need to rehearse. Make sure that you got it all down.
Exactly. And they say, what do they say? Something about amateurs practice or rehearse until they get it right, where a professional rehearses and practices until they can't get it wrong.
Yeah. Very true. And I've noticed,
and that's where the
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, that's where the instantaneous reaction comes into. When we have standard operating procedures for, say, reacting to a near ambush or far ambush or a front ambush, we have an SOP of exactly how to do it.
Right.
Right. But when that happens and you do that instantaneous reaction and you start going in there, but at the same time, if you have to adjust from that, you adjust from that because you've already got the experience of practice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very good point. So was that the last part of number 3?
That was the last part of number 3.
So just I want to make sure I got them all correct here. So you got communicate, demonstrate, delegate, supervision, inspection, debrief, and rehearse. Is that all of them?
Debrief. Debrief is part of inspection.
Debrief's part of inspection. Okay, I got you.
Right. So it's supervise, inspect, and rehearse would be the last 3.
Okay. Yep. All right. I got it. I'm just trying to take notes here and make sure I got it all.
All right.
All right. And then what do you got for number 4?
Okay. The 4th is to identify the performance level of each one of your people.
Okay.
Okay. So there's the old saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Right.
Right. Okay. There's also 3 kinds of lies: lies, damn lies, and statistics. However, while you're doing your communicating, demonstrating, delegating, supervising, inspecting, and rehearsing, you need to be taking notes of how your people are reacting and adhering to what you say.
Yeah.
How they are engaging with the mission and task, how subordinate unit leaders are leading, how are they responding to their leaders.
Right.
How did they perform during the rehearsals, and what were the results of their inspections?
Yeah.
You need to have this. You need to track that performance, behavior, and conduct. Remember, you're looking at performance, behavior, and conduct. You're not looking for the any personal likes or dislikes in that person.
Right.
Okay. So in order to have more exact, disciplined effort, you have to have viable, definable results, and you have to record them. This is the type of information that is just imperative that you have at your fingertips, so that when you do have that, so you gotta have a scorecard of how the people are performing.
Right.
Okay. So you take all those notes of how it went. So now you take a look at yourself. Okay. I'm looking at these results. How do I need to concentrate my effort, my influence or direction and instruction maybe, so that we can increase the performance in the next time that we do this?
Yeah.
Remember what I said about the drill field, how it's Groundhog Day, and how you can hone your leadership skills every 3 months?
Yeah.
It's the same way. If you don't keep statistics and how you came about getting those statistics, how do you know? Because the first one you have to lead is yourself. How do you know how you need to change? Let's say your unit didn't do that good. Whose fault is it? Okay. Now, if they just totally went out there and dropped the ball, then we got to look at those individuals. But however, if just they did a poor, lackadaisical job, that means you didn't do something in your communication, demonstration, delegation, supervision, inspection, and rehearsal. Okay. So that when you're identifying the performance level, each one of your people, you are getting that concrete statistics or criteria to, number one, the first thing, to look at yourself and see what you've done. But the second time, when you're doing these debriefs and counseling sessions, when you've got hard, verifiable data, you're not going off an opinion. You're going off an estimation or an evaluation. There's a difference between an opinion and an evaluation. Opinion is just how I feel. But if you've got an evaluation, you've got verifiable data
Right.
to present to the individual or the group.
Very true.
It's once again, it gives them that scorecard. It lets them see that scorecard.
Right. Which that's
Okay.
pretty important. Making sure that you have that data, something that they can actually see, right? And that could be in the form of counseling. That can be in the form of many different things. But having that data and say, hey, this is exactly where it was, leads credibility to what you're telling them and things of that nature. Because if it's just your opinion, everyone's got an opinion. But
Exactly. How many times have you probably heard it by some of your leaders? Oh, screwed up.
say that last part again.
You've probably had some leader of yours throughout your career say, well, this was all screwed up. They just made a blanket statement,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
say to them, well, what exactly was wrong?
Mm-hmm.
If you've been taking good notes and you've been doing proper supervision and observation
Yep.
and inspection, then you will know what's wrong.
Very true.
You will. So all comes down to having that verifiable data.
Yeah, I like that. All right.
That's then number 5.
Okay.
Number 5 is counsel, reward, and inspire.
I like
You
it.
want to counsel them, reward them, and inspire them to raise their standards of behavior and conduct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So counsel, the definition is advice, suggestion, and guidance.
Right.
Okay. There's a difference between counseling and criticizing.
Mm.
Okay. Criticizing is more kind of on a personal level, which it's got to be all professional. You remember that the movie The Godfather when they're going to whack the one guy
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "Hey, just so you know, just let him know that there's nothing personal. It was all professional."
Yeah.
It's the same thing you got to be when you're debriefing, when you're counseling, when you're giving guidance. It's got to be professional. You cannot get personal about it.
Right.
The behavior is not the individual. That's why we're always counseling, critiquing, evaluating performance, behavior, and conduct.
Right.
Okay. Because when someone is being counseled and they feel, and a lot of times, let's go back. The word counsel. Let's just say someone says to you, "Oh, I need you to come to my office at this time so we can have a counseling session."
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking automatically?
Well, most people are going to think negative, like
Exactly.
like I'm going to get my butt chewed
But
or something
why?
like that.
Correct. But why should you? Why should, that's why the term counseling it shouldn't be used negatively. It should
Yeah.
be, it needs to be positive
Mm-hmm.
also. Because as soon as someone feels they're being attacked, what are they doing? Boom, defenses go up.
Yeah.
And are they hearing anything that you're saying?
But definitely not hearing all of
They're
it.
not listening to you. They're looking back at you,
Mm-hmm.
and in their mind they're saying F you
Yeah.
and what you had to say.
Yeah.
That's just human nature. When someone feels attacked, the defenses are going to go up.
Right.
Okay. And they're going to be listening, or they'll be hearing something, but they're just justifying in their minds why you are wrong, why
Mm-hmm.
you, the counselor, are wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very true.
Your counsel, your advice, your guidance goes in one ear and out the other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think
That's why even,
sorry, I was going to
go ahead.
say, I think the word counsel, especially in the Marine Corps, uh, we utilize that word incorrectly, in my opinion.
We
And how
do,
you're saying a
without a
counseling,
doubt.
yeah, counseling should be positive, like because you're advising and things of that nature. Whereas the Marine Corps, anytime like you hear the word, I'm getting a counseling, well, I'm getting my butt chewed, and that's what we always refer to it as.
Yeah. So when we say, like you just said, in the Marine Corps, however, the Marine Corps doctrine according, the Marine Corps' doctrine on
Mm-hmm.
counseling is it says you as a leader must communicate regularly with your people,
Yeah.
both in setting goals to propel them towards outstanding achievement,
Mm-hmm.
as well as encouraging them to seek self-improvement in their shortcomings.
Right. Yeah.
Once again, it's communicating regularly, not just, oh, it's time for pro and cons or it's time for fit reps. Now we're going to have a counseling system. No, that's against Marine Corps regulations. And it says counseling is the most effective tool that allows leaders to help set goals that people can reach.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it provides the monitoring system to ensure that people can achieve their goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's no one, like when it comes up, I was always taught, no one should ever be surprised at the evaluation they get as far as like pro and cons or
Right. Yeah.
fitness reports. You should not. There should be no surprise because during the proper times throughout that reporting period, you have been getting counseled properly.
Right. Yeah, that's very true.
Once again, it gives them the rules to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Gives them the rules. I know there's that movie, that old movie, Animal House. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not.
Yeah.
But it's about the college fraternities.
Right.
And Dean Wormer. And Dean Wormer had him on double secret probation.
Yep. That's right.
So there should be no double secret probation.
Yeah.
Okay. You do an initial counseling when you first get someone under your charge,
Mm-hmm.
and you give them all the expectations. You give them the rule book.
Yeah.
You give them the rule book and it's what's expected. And then at certain times, and then when needed, you give them counseling sessions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So because a counseling system is supposed to develop the overall person,
Mm-hmm.
improve individual performance,
Right.
which will automatically increase the organization's overall productivity.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
I think John Wooden was the UCLA coach that was just totally successful.
Mm-hmm.
He always talked about like doing these small improvements. If everybody does a small percentage, or it was either John Wooden or Pat Riley, whatever there. But if everybody in your organization makes an improvement, a percentage of improvement, all those percentages together makes the overall organization better.
Yeah, very true.
Okay. And even when someone has to be counseled for something they might have done wrong, some behavior, their overall performance is not 100% screwed up.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with that. 100%.
It goes back to never give a dollar's worth of censure without a dime's worth of praise.
Right.
Respect human dignity, have respect and concern for each other, just like out of our core value statement.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about counseling that I was always big on, it should be written counseling.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear a lot of leaders say, "Oh, I don't want to have any paperwork on the guy. I just want to take." Well, it's not. I always consider paperwork would be the non-judicial punishment, the 6105.
Right. Yeah.
That goes in a record book.
Uh-huh.
But your written history of counseling between you and that other individual, it should be written. And because it's a scorecard. Someone might be going, say, like you got a low level person working for you, and he's got a leader over him before it gets to you, but you're doing this counseling, right? And the leader below you, who you've gotten information from also, but that leader's always on him, always, he's just always on him, correcting him and doing this. So this guy thinks he's getting counseled. He's coming in for a counseling, and he thinks he's going to get raked over the coals.
Right.
But you have a list because you've been observing him and everything, supervising him, inspecting him. You have this scorecard on his overall performance, behavior, and conduct.
Mm-hmm.
And while he needs to increase here, you're going to tell him all these areas that he did do good in.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, he might think he's, oh boy, during this time period, I was a kind of a loser.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but no, he goes, yeah, you need to increase your performance here, but look at all the good things you've done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's once again human dignity, respect, and concern for each other.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to be reminded that, even though you may screw something up, it's not that one thing is not what defines you. You've made a mistake, and you can move on from the
Correct.
mistake. As long as you learn from
Correct.
it, you got to
Yep.
learn from it. But
Of course. Of course. Like I said, things don't happen to you; they happen for you.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
But going back to that communication and being decisive, when you're counseling someone, you have to be mature enough and to give them an honest and equitable evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, if you don't have data, it's just your opinion.
True.
If you have data that you can show that what he's done, then it's an evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
And no two people should ever receive the exact same evaluation or counseling.
Yeah. That's
I
very
mean,
true.
when we got it now, if there's a point system and then everybody gets the high point, that's not what I'm talking about. No two people should, you know, be counseled with the same uh, negatives and positives as another person because everyone's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Everyone's got good qualities in different areas and do better
Yep.
in different things. So you should show them that so each one be different.
Especially when someone under your charge is having a rough time,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're just seem to be kind of screwing up, or they're not as proficient and efficient and have as much zeal to
Right.
get things done. Once again, you have to know that person. You go look at your counseling records. Yeah, I looked back the last couple months. He's never had any type of motivation issues or being lazy or anything like that. Why is it now? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because no human being, no honorable human being wakes up, goes into work, and says, "I'm going to screw up as much as possible."
Very true. Very true.
Right? No one. If they're an honorable person,
Yeah.
there must be something in their life that's kind of overshadowing their desire to do a good job. And
Right.
it's up to you as a leader to kind of find out.
Yeah.
You don't be overly intrusive, but having a good working relationship with someone, and if they trust you as a leader,
Mm-hmm.
then and if you're an approachable leader, they will be able to open up to you,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to assist them. Once again, you're not carrying them,
Mm-hmm.
but you're providing them the tools to overcome.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, like it says, especially when they're in a rough patch or when you're doing your corrections or counselings, you got to say, do they need to be chastised and ridiculed or influenced and directed?
Mm. Yeah. Very true.
Yep.
And that goes back to when you talk about caring about people, you gotta know your people, and so if you don't get off your butt and walk around and interact with them, because many leaders, which it's questionable if they're leaders if they do this, they just sit in the office, they don't go anywhere do anything. How are you going to notice if somebody under your charge is struggling in something? Because if you're there every day and you see them and you talk to them regularly, those types of things, you're going to notice when something's not right, something's off. You can notice
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. If you know a person and all of a sudden, like, and you're both coming around the corner,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you truly know a person or have a very good knowledge of them as individuals,
Mm-hmm.
and you see them, and boom, you know how it is when you first like almost bump into each other.
Yeah.
You can tell by that person's face if there's something wrong or not.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I I used to tell I used to tell the officers and the chiefs, I guess probably senior drill instructors too. If you really know that drill instructor
Mm-hmm.
and you walk on deck, you can tell if he looks guilty or not.
Yeah.
If if you know him,
Yeah, true,
if you know him,
true.
you know.
Yeah, that is very true.
So, like I said, and it's also one of the ways to that discipline gets instilled.
Hmm.
Firm guidance and counseling conducted in a fair and dignified manner.
Yeah, 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 very true.
That's
Hey, these are all good nuggets. I hope everyone's listening. So that was,
yeah.
we were on counsel, right? Counsel, and then
Counsel,
are we? Oh, the next one was reward.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. Just think back to your time in the Marine Corps.
Hmm.
How good are we at punishing someone when they step out of line?
Yeah, it happens pretty easily there. Yeah.
We are quick and efficient, aren't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We are quick and efficient. But uh, how efficient are we at rewarding someone?
It, probably the worst,
Okay.
or close
Yep.
to.
Yes. And a reward, what's a definition of a reward? Something given or received in what is done, compensation for a commendable act.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
It's acknowledging someone's effort,
Right.
you know, and, you know, and, they always say, reward the behavior that you want to increase.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So, uh, yeah, it's, rewarding people, but also, once again, you have to have good, viable data so that you don't reward the wrong person.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Rewarding the wrong person will just kill the initiative
Hmm.
of the people who are actually busting their butt.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That is
So
one
if
quick
you,
way to get everybody on your bad side.
yeah, is by not rewarding the good people
Hmm.
and rewarding the slackers.
Hmm. Very
Yep.
true.
So once again, but reward the behavior you want to increase. You know.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And then inspiration, inspire. So once again, the counsel, reward, and inspire.
Hmm.
Okay. Like I said, like you asked me earlier, why did you actually reenlist the first time?
Yeah.
I said because I wanted to be like those people I really looked up to, my mentors.
Hmm.
Those ones that have gone before me. They were an inspiration to me.
Right.
They the definition of inspiration, the capacity to stimulate a person to creative or other activity or to express certain ideas.
Mm.
Okay. A person's ability to instill a certain feeling in other human beings by verbal and nonverbal communication. You
That's
know,
really good.
what's the last part of the definition? To invigorate or encourage, stimulate to a higher level of creativity.
Mm.
It's like, wow, no joke. That's,
Yeah. Ah, that's good.
you
Man, I
know,
should have looked up the definition of inspire a long time
it's
ago.
like, woof. Well, it's uh, one thing that you contacted me to do this. I've had my book manuscript on validated leadership. I've had it sitting 90% done for the last uh, 11 and a half years.
Well, we need to finish that up.
So I know that's like I said, you inspired me. You inspired me to get off my butt and get it done. And I also, I got my website. I got the rights to it again, purchased the rights to it. I haven't got it up yet. But yeah, so
Very nice.
once again, you're inspiring me.
So that's and
You're
correct me if
inspired.
I'm
That's what
wrong. You're
leadership comes.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, leadership comes. It doesn't. The rank and leadership, age and maturity. It's just like age and maturity have nothing to do with each other.
Hmm.
It's how you lead, how you, influence and direct someone else.
Right. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. So and you
There's a
the The
Go
website
ahead.
you have is Validated Leadership. That's what the ones that's going to come online. Is that what it is?
Yes, validatedleadership.com,
Okay.
but it's not up yet. It's
Okay.
not up yet. It's kind of up on Facebook, but not really. I haven't updated nothing on
Okay.
it.
And then
So
your
yes,
book that
you've got me inspired.
the book that you're going to finish here soon is Validated
Is
Leadership as well.
validated leadership.
Okay. I like it.
Validated leadership.
Yeah. Well, my
Yep.
book
Because
has nothing to do with any of that stuff. It's about me going fishing and doing stupid things. So, oh man.
going back to inspiration, uh, there's a man named Leo Buscaglia, and
Mm,
I always like to sing. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an
mm.
honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around.
Oh
That's
yeah.
And then a good leader inspires their people with confidence in themselves, the leader.
Mm.
Great leaders inspire their people with confidence in themselves.
Ooh, very nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really good
because like
stuff.
I said, if you're inspired by another leader, you're only going to go so far.
Hmm.
If the leader's like, "Hey, see how I do it? Use me as example." Blah blah blah
Hmm.
blah. But a great leader inspires them to dig out those value within themselves.
Right. Yeah.
And like I said, I'm full of a lot of things, but I'm full of old sayings. And there's the other one. The greatest good you can do for another human being is not just to share your riches, but to reveal to him his own riches.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because you've got to be a leader is a catalyst,
Hmm.
right? And a catalyst is someone whose talk, enthusiasm, or energy causes others to be more friendly, enthusiastic, or energetic. Or it
Right.
could be negative also, but
Hmm.
we're focusing on the positive.
Yeah.
So you as a leader need to induce your people to raise their standards of performance, behavior, and conduct.
Yeah. You know what I always talk about is the person that, well, I like to call the turd, but that person, it has a natural born ability for leadership because they are
Oh,
able
I
to.
skipped over that part.
Look at that! Great minds think alike.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me hear it, then I'll throw in mine.
Okay, yeah. So that turd has a natural born tendency for leadership and is able to pull in people on their side and can be that cancer that like kind of snowballs throughout the unit. And you have to be able to influence that turd to get them on your side to be able to help turn things around sometimes. Which is doable. You know, you can do that. You can influence them, but you got to take the time to actually listen and sit down and mentor and guide and all that type of stuff with the individual.
Exactly. Exactly. So what I always say, uh, some of your strongest leaders, that just like you're saying, the turd,
Yeah.
some of your strongest leaders, not the most positive, but your strongest leaders are those little subversives that are in your unit, that you're in charge of,
Mm-hmm.
and you're passing all the words. You're giving these communications and delegations and everything like that.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, does everyone understand? Everyone shakes their head, yes. You walk away, and what's the little subversive start doing?
They start making
First,
comments.
he's gonna start communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah.
You just said comments.
Yeah.
He's gonna start communicating. Okay. He's going to reward those others that are kind of shitbird mentality.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna reward them for being like-minded like him.
Yeah. Very true.
Then he's gonna observe the ones that are totally opposite him.
Mm-hmm.
And what's he gonna do? He's gonna start communicating and counseling them
Mm-hmm.
about their behavior, that it should be more like his negative behavior.
Yeah.
Then he's going to find all the ones that are on the fence,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to start communicating and leading them to be more like him.
Oh yeah.
If you can, if you can if you can identify that,
Mm-hmm.
once again, you have to be supervising from afar and have that unscheduled presence where you're seeing all the things that are really going on. If you can find that individual,
Mm-hmm.
identify it, find out what makes them tick, harness their energy in a positive manner, you're going to have just a total, strong positive leader.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's very.
it comes down to say something. Let's go back to the drill field reference, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got the little slacker, the lazy one that moves slow and doesn't listen to the guide and squad leaders, right?
Right.
And you identify him, then you put him in charge of the whiskey locker.
Mm-hmm.
And then you IT him when the whiskey locker's not organized and
Right.
stuff like that. And then he starts, whoa, I'm in charge. I got to start doing things
Yep.
like this. And then he
Yeah.
becomes the fanatic,
Mm-hmm.
the fanatical leader.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to give them something, put them in charge of something, give them something that's worthwhile to hold on to, and then they start to see it and they'll start turning around.
One of the purposes of close order drill is to get practice in being in command and to
Mm-hmm.
increase the confidence of subordinate unit leaders. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
What I used to do in the infantry all the time was you get the salty lance corporal, the tough guy,
Yeah.
you know, boom. Mr. Tough Guy? Yeah. Put him out in front of the platoon and have him call the platoon to attention, right face, march him around,
Yep.
and see how a majority of them will wither,
Mm-hmm.
right? I gotta be out there and I gotta be giving commands and doing things correctly.
Yeah.
It just changes their focus in their brain, and they, like I said, they either wilt or they get stronger.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Wow. So that's your 5 leadership rules that
And the
you have.
basis of my book and my consulting. So I go in. What I do, I haven't done it for a few years now, but I go into a company and first I talk to the commanding officer, to the boss, right, the
Yeah.
CEO,
Mm-hmm.
and I find, and just like in the Marine Corps, I find out what his intent or his or her intent is
Right.
for their company,
Okay.
and then I go talk to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then I take the lowest level of leaders, and then when I talk to everybody, I'm preaching these the CEO's intent,
Right.
right? Everything the CEO, I tell the CEO, what have you told them already, but you want me to say in kind of a roundabout way
Mm-hmm.
so that they don't think that you're the only one saying it.
Right.
It's just like, it's like your father. You got a father and son.
Mm-hmm.
You tell your son to do this, do this, do this. This is what you should do. And they just in one ear and out the other.
Right. Yeah.
But then a friend of yours can tell him the same thing and he thinks it's the greatest idea in the world. Right.
Yes. It's so frustrating.
And it is. And so then I'll go and then I'll take the different leaders at the different levels and I'll
Mm-hmm.
go way in depth with all these things. Okay.
Yeah.
Because some companies, a lot of companies make the mistake. They take that best performing guy or
Mm-hmm.
girl and they promote him to supervisor or manager,
Right.
well, without any training,
Mm-hmm.
right? They,
Very
they
true.
don't give them any training, but they expect them to do the job. And then but they didn't want to be the manager,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're not ready. They're not mature enough for it. They didn't want it. They got other things going on in their life. They don't want the responsibility.
Right.
So, so then they fail and then they either get fired or they get put back down in the
Mm-hmm.
general population.
Right.
And so those leaders are setting them up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very
that's what
true.
what I focus on. And uh, like I worked with one CEO. Uh, she complained that, well, whenever I go out on the floor, they all stop working. And I go, that's because you're not out there enough. They're not used to you being there.
Yeah. Huh.
You know,
Yeah.
so you need to be out there and show them that that we're all part of the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very true. Well, I like it. I like what you got going on there with the consulting thing.
Yeah.
If there's any businesses out there that want to get in contact with you, how are they going to do that? What is a website or?
I'll have my website and Facebook up soon, I hope,
Okay.
so that I can get this going again.
Okay. And that's all through everything was Validated Leadership. So
Correct.
validatedleadership.com, and the Facebook is Validated Leadership.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well,
But it's not up and running yet. But
it
you've
will be.
Like I said, you've inspired me. You've inspired me to get this going.
Well, I did a good deed for the day. I'm doing pretty good for
You
myself.
You did.
I might not be able to work my phone, but I did a good deed, so it was good. Awesome. Well, Sergeant Major, thank you very, very much for doing this. I appreciate it. There's a lot of good information in all of this, and I'm sure everyone that listens to it is going to be ecstatic to hear it as well. But I thank you for doing this. You've been a great mentor, great leader for me personally, and for that I say thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for thinking of me. And just so everyone knows, I didn't think any of this up myself. I was taught it all. Remember, leadership is learned by observation, emulation, and experience.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And I got all of it from you. So that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you again for coming on. To everybody
Okay.
out. Oh
And
yeah,
you
go
tell
ahead.
your lovely bride hello for me.
Oh, you bet you I will. Absolutely. She always asks about you and where you are and what
You
you're
know
doing.
it.
So
Yep.
yeah,
All right.
I'll hit
All
her up.
right.
I'll let her know.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, to all the listeners out there, thanks for everything. Stay motivated. Change your socks.